How do you identify deity symbols and signs? And how do you communicate with them? Now, before I get into this, claircognizant messages are definitely on this list, right? But there are some things that I want you to look out for. These are warning signs. Warning signs that you are not talking to a deity, you are talking to a false deity of some kind, a trickster spirit, something nefarious. When that communication to you states that you must follow that entity exclusively, that you are not allowed to follow any other deities of any kind at all, just them only, that is a red flag. If this entity states that you are the most significant of something, right? Like Jesus, that is a red flag. If said entity tries to dictate what you do or do not do, if it inhibits your free will, red flag. I'm very curious as to why when I look up these videos on TikTok, previous information shared, right? Why do I never see anyone tell you to just talk to them? Hi, I know that you're here. Can you give me a for sure sign of who you are, please? Simplest way. If a deity is trying to get your attention and you ask them to communicate that it is them in a particular way and they want your attention, they're gonna do it. Let's say your deity that you think it is associated with monarch butterflies, right? And you think it's a deity. You say, will you please, if this is you, make a monarch butterfly land on me within the next week or so, please, so that I have confirmation that it is in fact you. If it is that deity, it will occur. If it is not that deity, then it will not occur. So then maybe look into things a little bit differently, different perspectives, right? If you have no idea, can you please give me the most identifiable sign that it is for sure you 3 times? You see a white owl in the same tree 3 nights in a row. Find out who's associated with white owls. Find that list. It'll be a small list most likely. And then if you are this god, will you please give me this sign because you're associated with it? If you are this god, will you please give me this sign because you're associated with it? So on and so forth. Please understand that you will not get only one sign from a deity. It will be repetitive, will be not a coincidence at all, no possibility of it at this point. This is an odd synchronicity, right? Why does this black dog always follow me for this amount of time every single night when I take my daily walk? See what I'm saying? Look at deities that are associated with black dogs or a black hound of some kind. Why does this falcon caw at me every single morning without fail? Why do I keep finding Medusa statues? And I mean actually finding them, right? You go to the thrift store, there's a Medusa statue. What? That's not common. You go to Walmart, Medusa statue in the middle of the aisle as you're walking. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not going to be, you're not going to have to look for it, right? You're going to notice. Let's say you're having a conversation with someone and they say something that is so out of character, but wise and knowledgeable. Pay attention, because deities will utilize other people to speak to you. And if you think they don't use technology, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. Deities will utilize technology to communicate with you, with the exception of if you are interacting with Hermes TikTok all the time, then you're interacting with it. You're going to have to take into consideration algorithms, right? But let's say that you are finding Hermes staff symbols everywhere, and then randomly, even though you've never interacted with Hermes TikTok ever, you get an in-depth informative video about Hermes, right? That you might catch your attention. You're like, oh, okay, I am listening. Deities often have animal messengers. For example, Odin has his 2 ravens. They have animal familiars a lot of the time that they use to send messages to their people, right? If you're having constant interaction from an animal that is out of the ordinary, especially repetitively, then definitely look into who is associated with that animal, and you can narrow it down from there. Again, communicate is key. Communication is key here. Speaking of communication, you might get claircognizant messages. Claircognizance is clear knowing, which means you'll get thoughts that seem like your own, but you didn't come up with them. They come from back here somewhere, and they're usually in the form of epiphanies or wisdom or knowledge. They are never negative. They will never tell you to do anything with malintent to you or others, ever. That is something else. These will be motivational, inspiring, epiphany-based, knowledge, very wise words. That's what I mean by claircognizance, clear knowing, hearing those messages. These thoughts will be very clearly not from your original thought origin. You'll be like, what in the world? And then you can also ask the deity, or whoever you think is communicating with you, to give you a word that is associated with their pantheon that you would not know, because they'll know if you know. And if you get a thought of a word that you have no idea what it means, and you look it up and you find the meaning, and that gives you a pretty clear hint as to who it is, that's a good way to go about it too. Communication is key. Meditation. Meditation is, in layman's terms, something that you are doing that allows your brain to rest, where it is not actively functioning and having it to critically think, right? So playing video games can be a form of meditation, a nature walk, or sitting in a quiet room, dark, dimly lit room with a still mind. Ask the deity to give you an image or a little video snip, or have them speak to you who they are while you are in a moment of still-mindedness. If they're trying to communicate with you, they will do it. They're trying to communicate with you for a reason, okay? Astral traveling is also, or journeying, is also another wonderful way to communicate with deities. Deities exist in a way that is temporal, or not bound by temporal limitations. They can exist in several spatial places at one time. They're not ruled by the physical laws that we are. They can communicate with you in the astral, and they will. If they are trying to communicate with you, they will communicate with you in the astral. Now, if you're still questioning whether these are valid communications, you can double check utilizing divination tools. Runes, ogums, pendulums, sortilege, my favorite, oracle and tarot cards. See if the cards give you the same message. Ask the deity, give me the same message that you gave to me here in these cards, please. And they will. If it's legit, they will. I promise they will. They will communicate to you in your dreams. That is how Kefri got my attention, through my dreams. Literally made me dream of the field of reeds. Let me see them. Made sure I knew who they were, right? So pay attention to your dreams, especially the dreams that you seems like you can't get them off your mind, right? If you can remember a dream vividly, it's probably not just a dream. It might be a subconscious message from yourself to yourself, or a message from an ancestor, spirit guide, or deity. Another thing that's very useful to pay attention to is your clear sentience, your clear feeling. What gut feelings and sensations do you get after communicating, right? After speaking out loud, how do you feel? Did you get full body chills? That is an energetic presence. Deities do not really, come to us in their full forms most of the time. Very rarely would that actually occur. But their energies are something different, and you can feel that. And please remember that you are allowed to reach out to a deity to work with. They don't have to be reaching out to you for you to want to work with them. And they may accept working with you, even though they weren't reaching out. Communication is key. Again, ask for signs. Ask for signs that are undeniable, okay? Just be careful. Like the warning that I stated, go watch it again. I mean that. Be careful. Negative thoughts, controlling messages, that's not a vibe. Those are red flags. Ignore those. That's something else, okay? Whether that has to do with something that needs to be medically taken care of or a negative entity of some kind, please ignore those. Those are not what I'm talking about. But I hope that this helps. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section.